again late. But Ohio State and Rutgers is one of the big ones this week. This week, it's going to be hard to match last week in college football.
So many interesting things happened last week. I don't know. It's going to feel a little disappointing. I'm going to be honest with you. It really is.
And the NFL this weekend should be pretty good again. Should be pretty good. Eagles and Panthers is the Sunday night game. And are you worried about the Steelers this week?
No, I don't. Well, I'm not sold on Landry Jones. I still think he's a wet noodle. So we'll see how he does for 4 quarters instead of 1.
Landry Jones would be a big concern if I'm a Steelers fan.
But it's still the Chiefs, and they can't throw the ball, and their only running back is no longer there. So.
And Macklin has a concussion now. It doesn't look like he's going to play. They're going in the wrong direction. It almost looks like Andy Reid has lost his team in Kansas City. It's a good defense, though. Still don't trust Landry Jones. Not sold on him. Everyone's saying, they'll be fine with Landry Jones. Not so fast. It's been
if you watched this preseason game.
It's been 1 week. We'll see. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Keystone Sports Beat.
Bringing the local news and issues important to you on a daily basis. Center County This Morning, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. and only here on 970 a.m. WBLF, Bellefonte State College.
I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio. Joe Biden makes a tough decision.
The vice president knew that the window for getting into the presidential race was fast closing, and it was only last night, according to a senior White House official, that he came to the conclusion that a third White House run was an impossibility.
I've concluded it has closed.
After Biden's announcement, Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton in a statement called Biden a good man and a great vice president. Republican frontrunner Donald Trump on Twitter said he would rather run against Hillary because, quote, her record is so bad.
Fox News Radio's John Decker at the White House. Police in Albuquerque now questioning someone in connection with the road rage killing of a 4-year-old girl.
The young victim is Ileana Garcia, who went by the name Lily. This is also trending on the web with the hashtag Justice for Lily. Albuquerque police say the suspect's car and the truck driven by Lily's dad were trying to cut each other off on Interstate 40. Cops say the driver of the red or maroon Colorado Toyota sedan shot inside the truck cab, hitting 4-year-old Lily in the head. She was rushed to the hospital and later died.
Fox News' Alicia Acuna, a career criminal now in custody in the fatal shooting of a New York City cop, Randolph Holder, the 4th NYPD officer killed in the line of duty in less than a year.
It's just another episode of what has become all too familiar and all too frequent, a loss of life needlessly by gun violence that is just out of control in this city and in this nation. And it is only getting worse.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says gun laws aren't tough enough. A founding member of the band Three Dog Night is dead. Corey Wells passed away in New York last night. A bandmate says he died suddenly at age 74. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with 1 claim compared to Assurant total equipment coverage as of April 10th, 2015.
Getting a new Galaxy, iPhone, or other smartphone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting your new smartphone is a smart idea. But if you have insurance from one of those big cell phone companies, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance from Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carriers can cost you as much as $11 every month, plus up to $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade phone protection is less than $5 a month with a much lower deductible. We can save you over $240. And switching to SquareTrade is easy. Even if you're locked into a 2-year phone contract with Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carrier, you can cancel their phone insurance anytime. We'll even show you how.
Switch to SquareTrade now and save over $240. Visit SquareTrade.com. That's SquareTrade.com.
SquareTrade! And Congressman Paul Ryan tries to make up his mind about making a run for Speaker of the House. A new poll finds Republicans may not be looking for the unity candidate he says he wants to be. According to the AP GFK poll, most Republicans want the next speaker to stand on principle and not compromise. The young victim of a church beating in New York testifies against his own relatives.
17-year-old Christopher Leonard stared downward and spoke softly and haltingly in court, testifying against his own sister, one of 6 members of the Word of Life Church charged in connection with the beatings of Chris and his 19-year-old brother Lucas, who died on the floor of the church sanctuary last Sunday. Chris's parents have been charged with manslaughter in the case. Chris says they beat and flogged him, too, for several hours, with fists and a folded electrical cord on his back, chest, legs, and genitals. He says the punishment was ordered by the church pastor, and the DA says more charges are likely in this case. In New Hartford, New York, Rick Leventhal, Fox News Radio.
A very high-profile divorce is off.
Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom have jointly gone to court to dismiss their divorce case because they are giving their marriage another try. TMZ reporting Khloe's lawyer, Laura Wasser, went before a judge asking a judge to withdraw the papers they both signed to end their marriage that were filed in December of 2013 that Khloe basically sat on trying to get Lamar into rehab. However, she gave up this summer, but the file still sat there. Kardashian has been by the former NBA star's side since last week when he fell unconscious at a Nevada brothel. Odom, transported back to L.A., has been in rehabilitation since Monday. Michelle Polino, Fox News Radio.
A new policy now allows the Secret Service to use intrusive cell phone tracking technology without a warrant, but only if there's a suspected threat against the president or another protected person. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's the forecast from your weather authority for WBLF. Tonight, patchy clouds with an overnight low of 48. Tomorrow, sun and passing clouds. There could be a shower or two, a high temperature of 70. And then for Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high temperature of 60 degrees. From your weather authority, I'm Regina Miller for News Talk 970 WBLF.
Celebrate Oktoberfest with help from Old New York Restaurant, East College Avenue in the Giant Plaza. September 28th through October 4th, try the Apfel Schnitzel. Tender pork schnitzel served over a bed of spatzel and covered with a sweet apple jus, garnished with sautéed apple rings and baby carrots. You'll also need an ice-cold beverage to wash it all down, and Old New York has you covered with a special selection of Oktoberfest draft beer available, including special Oktoberfest brews from Paulaner, Hacker Shore, Sam Adams, Warsteiner, Hofbrau, Spaten, and Ayinger. Plus, make plans to come out to Old New York for the Bavarian Stompers on hand to kick things up a notch October 5th and again on October 19th. Experience all the fun and delicious traditional cuisine. Join in the Oktoberfest celebration at Old New York Restaurant, East College Avenue in the Giant Plaza, September 28th through October 4th with their special feature, Apfel Schnitzel. Call 237-1582. That's 237-1582 or visit oldnewyork.net for more information.
Hey, friends, and a pleasant good evening. Welcome to Lions Live, the only network built by the players for the fans. My name is Skip Dreibelbis, along with big dude Stephen Davis. Special guest with us tonight here, Dan the Fan, bringing the best of Penn State on the only network built by the players for the fans. We're not a podcast, and this show's not pre-recorded. We are Lions Live here in State College on a nice Indian summer night, talking some Penn State football here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody joining us on out there on the web as well, streaming at lionslive.com. So send your comments and questions into our Facebook pages. All the social links are there. Look forward to be able to talk to you here about Penn State football here. So share some stories about the past here, talk about our current team, and looking forward to the future here. And welcome aboard, gentlemen. It's a great night here to talk some football. We're all kind of suffering through this big loss from Ohio. But, you know, better things ahead for us here at Penn State. Stefan, I think we'd like to maybe give a little bit of a recap. And, of course, Dan, I want to get your thoughts and feelings as a fan out there, because you are Dan the Fan. So probably the best well-known fan in the country out here, Dan the Fan. So your thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So, but, hey,
yes, go ahead.
Stefan, let's give a little bit of a recap here of what we saw here from last week.
Well, what we got to Skip is obviously a difficult loss. We got in a situation where, of course, we were able to get up, move the ball, do some things pretty well. And I still say, you know, as difficult as the matchups were up front, we didn't play that bad, actually. I mean, we were, of course, in some cases, and I think Coach Franklin talked about in his press conference, the difficult matchups were on the guards. They tried to do as much as they could. We did get our center Mangiero back, and then we had to unfortunately make a switch at guard, and actually Wendy Lawrence coming in actually helped us and playing for the matchup. So we struggled up front. we were able to get some things done, but we do know that Hackenberg took some good shots, and Hackenberg, of course, was hurt and played that entire game hurt. So people have questions about that, but Hackenberg, by the way, is on his way to hopefully breaking some school career marks. It looks like in passing yards, completions, and all. He will need 74 yards passing and 11 completions and 29 attempts to top all three in the category. Of course, the biggest stat we want to see in the Maryland game is a win. Of course, our true freshman running back is back, Saquon Barkley. He had 194 yards on 26 carries against Ohio State. He's got right now he's eclipsed 100 yards in 3 games, which he's been a featured back. And he's missed 2.5 games so far, and he's got over 570 yards rushing. He's with some good company in terms of freshman performances, with some good company such as DJ Dozier and Curtis Enos. So he is doing his thing. He's threatening to pass 200 yards in 2 contests. And aside from that, a 1 yard he had against Temple, which he didn't play, it messed up his average. So, and of course, on defense, we had Carl Nassib, who had a tremendous game. He's now, in 7 games, he's had a sack in every game. He had 1.5 against Ohio State and 3.5 tackles for losses. And guess what? Carl Nassib leads the nation in sacks and tackles for losses and forced fumbles. He leads in all categories, and this is tremendous for the former walk-on. Now, of course, the other recap is we did what we could. We got a critical touchdown call back when we went up 10 nothing. I think it might have been a holding call. That call back. And we had opportunities on the run. When you're down at Columbus, you got to stick with it. And we had a critical touchdown call back. We had a difficult time recovering. Of course, Ohio State used 2 quarterbacks. J.T. Barrett probably has established himself on the other. He is the red zone threat that we were not able to stop. He really gave our defense some fits. And Cardale Jones played solid as well. I don't know if you all heard now, J.T. Barrett apparently played so well. He has cemented himself now as a starting quarterback, and they will not be rotating quarterbacks. So we saw what was going on. The running back played well. Although we did the best we could in a lot of situations. Our linebackers were a little bit slow reacting and playing downhill a lot of times. And of course, Ohio State has that big playability. And of course, Braxton Miller put the game away to former 3-time All-Big Ten quarterback. 3-time Offensive Player of the Year at wide receiver is one of the most difficult matchups in the entire country. And I think as long as he stays healthy, he'll definitely have a career in the National Football League. So, tough loss, 38-10. We stayed in the game for a while. I was able to see most of it's just about all the second half and the end of the first half. But what I saw is that we started to at least try to respond to some of the matchups we had. Joey Bosa, who of course certainly is going up for All-American this year, as he is for every year in the NFL. John Bosa's son, I don't know if you all remember John Bosa, actually played in the NFL for the Dolphins and played for Boston College. In fact, I think I may have gotten a pancake or 2 against John. So, not bragging, but hey, I got your props. So,
all right.
Anyway, tough ball game last week. The punting skip, I think, as we talked about offline, things we saw in the press conference, Dan. I don't know if you got a chance to catch any of it. It's gotten to the point where they even had some open trials for punters, which, to tell you the truth, is very uncharacteristic of almost any team. But the punting has just been awful. And that's one of the things that we need from now on to be a competitive team. It has to be good. You've got to be able to change field positions. You have to be able to give your coverage team a chance. And if you don't, it doesn't matter how good your coverage team is when your punting is poor. My understanding is, Skip, that they've gone away from directional punts, and I don't know what the value of that is. It's just trying to bang them as far as you can, especially when you're not punting well. So those are the different things. We've got to do better with special teams. Our passing it was difficult. We were able to make some plays, and of course, you do have some folks that are ready to go. When we start talking about passing and we start talking about our wide receiver crew, which is probably, I would still say, one of the best wide receiving crews in the entire country. That we have, led by a number of people today that they've had there. We have not heard much from Geno Lewis. That's one person we need to hear from. And also, Coach talked about consistent play from the tight ends as well. And I think we have some good tight ends, and I think that we are going to have to use them a little bit different and get the ball in their hands. So that's where I'm at, and I think we're going to be in good shape. Well, of course, we're going against a good Maryland team that is 2-4. Well, I say good Maryland team because regardless of what year Maryland has ever played, it's always been a great football game, all the way down to the big game with Pete Kirkendall at the 82-yard non-scoring interception return to turn that game around. If Pete does not intercept that ball and go the other way, I don't know if I'm wearing the ring I'm wearing right now.
Well, that's so
true. That's my cap.
Yeah, that's so true, and I think our statistic still stands for Peter here at Penn State. So that's pretty cool.
I think it just got beat. Actually, it got beat. I can't remember who it was. Somebody beat it a few years ago, and then they didn't razz them. I think it may have just gotten. It has to be close. A little bit ago.
Yeah, it's got to be close. Hey, you know what I noticed a lot was the time of possession. With Penn State and Ohio State, it's not like one was dominated more than the other. Time of possession was pretty close in this game. And, when I look at, overall passing yards, Penn State had more passing yards, and the yards per pass was better than Ohio State's. We talked about this at the beginning of the season, and I picked Ohio State and Alabama to possibly be in a national championship, and they just seem to be the team to beat this year. And Penn State did the best they can, and all things considered, I think Penn State did what they could. They have Ohio State has a depth. You're having a defense trying to play against two different type of quarterbacks. It's a difficult team to beat. And, Alabama found that out last year, too. So all things considered, though, I think, Penn State did as well as they can. And, we do need to be concerned about Maryland coming up here again this week because they got to be hungry for a win. They've suffered 4 losses this year, and they've been beat up pretty bad in some games. So it's not going to get any easier for Penn State coming into this as well. But, Dan, I know you're the diehard fan. And we love you, man.
Yeah.
And, it's always great.
I love you too, brother.
And it's kind of cool, Stefan. We were there coming out of the tunnel at homecoming, and there's Dan the fan there flagging us down. It was great to see him then. But Dan, as a fan's perspective here, you're always watching the games, catching up on things here. What do you feel about a loss coming from Ohio State like this?
Well, I think it was bound to happen sooner or later, and like you said about the 2 quarterback thing, I've never seen a team do that before, except for Ohio State. And it was good. It was a good, interesting game, but it's too bad that the way it turned out. But win or lose, was still Penn State no matter what. And whoever is behind there throwing the ball is the captain of that team. And getting back to Saquon Barkley, I sat up in the sweeps at the Rutgers game and watched him run on the field and stuff like that. And I was sitting with a former Penn State running back, and he said that guy's going to be special. And that kid's only, 17, 18 years old? Just unbelievable.
He's legitimate.
Yeah.
Young guy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because we sat at home, me and my girlfriend, watching the game. We had our own special tailgate, 2-person tailgate. And
you're all old school, aren't you?
And on a 70-inch screen TV, we cooked out back and stuff like that. And we watched, but it was a good game. It was a good game.
Tough loss. Now, as a fan, because we're trying to get the general consensus, because you're the Dan the fan. So, but generally speaking,
come on, bro.
Hey, no. I mean, you're a special guy out there.
I'm just one of a million.
Well, you are, but you go to some lengths that a lot of our fans don't. So, it's kind of been fun getting to know you over the years here, and having you on and giving some perspective to things, as a diehard Penn State fan. So what would we say would maybe disappointed the most from the Ohio State game?
For me, the touchdown being called back and the drop pass of Mike Gesicki, that the ball was in his arms. I mean, I'm not a player, I'm not on the team, but he was wide open. Things happen.
Wow.
Things happen.
Wow. Well, you know,
I couldn't believe that.
The one thing that I found interesting is actually Coach Franklin holding open tryouts, and I'll answer your one question about directional punting here, Stefan. But Penn State's not the only team that did that this year. Florida Gators actually held open tryouts for place kickers. They have a
really?
Yes, they did, and they're having a real problem with kickers down here in Florida. Of all places in Florida. I mean, it'd be a great place for a kid to want to go to play, but for whatever reason, they're having trouble there. So they held open tryouts for that as well. Punting is a different type of skill. But, you know, as we talked before the show, Stefan, when you get to college, by that time, you don't have a kicking coach per se. You don't have a punting coach per se. You have coaches that played other positions more than likely in their careers. And they've learned and picked up things from talking and hearing different kickers and being at different camps, seminars, and things like that over the years. So they try to pass those things on to the players in their team. But you don't really have, per se, just a kicking or punting coach. Coach Pat did up here, but he was running the stopwatch all the time. He'd take us over the stadium, timing us. And we'd look at films, but we're really you get this time in our lives 30 years ago, you kind of had to coach yourself. You could ask somebody to maybe watch what you're doing, see if you were doing something, because you can't do it you can't watch yourself, and you can't always get everything on film. But at that point, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to. And, when it comes to directional punting, a lot of teams try to use the sideline as an extra man. Also in kickoffs, too, the same thing. And having a punter who can punt the ball accurately, placing the ball at a particular location is a real asset to a team. I think Penn State, where Coach Franklin says we're just going to kick it down the middle, says we don't have anybody who can place the ball at all. We just want to get the ball out of here and have somebody who can do that consistently, because we got guys shanking the punts really bad. So I think do you go to a rugby type of punting technique? Possibly just kick it in over and try to get some roll on the ball and get it going. I spent a little bit of time as a punter before I got to Penn State, and we did a third down punt. They tossed me in as a running back, and the coach said, just get it and just kick it out of here, because we wanted to catch our team off guard. We were down in our inside our 10-yard line, and I did one of those rugby things and just crushed it down there to the other team's 5-yard line on a roll. And those that type of thing can work, and you see some teams trying to work towards that. But finding a skilled punter is a very difficult thing to do. To expect to find a diamond in a rough, or anybody who's ready to come in and play college football through open tryouts. It may sound good as a publicity thing. It may sound good, but finding somebody, it would truly be like finding a needle in a haystack, because you can't tell me somebody's out here just practicing that skill. It is a diminishing skill, like many others. If you aren't doing it all the time, you're not going to become good at it. It's all about having the right type of a consistent drop with your punt, consistent leg swing, and it's just a diminishing skill. So if somebody's not there practicing all the time, you're not going to really see somebody come on and be able to do something that's outstanding like that. So interesting to see what happens here in this next week. Let's hope that we can get somebody who can do something with somewhat type of consistency, or adjust the punting scheme where you can even do a rugby type style punt and at least get the ball out of there and down the field instead of off into the sidelines. But that's kind of the 2 cents with it on the punting side of it there. Now, Dan, you did your tailgate at home. Now, what are you going to be doing here for this?
Come on, man. Well, listen, here's the thing. This weekend, I'll be celebrating my birthday. I'll be down in Valley Forge for the Hall of Fame induction for Joe Paterno and Chuck Fusma and Matt Barr and stuff. Last year, I did my 50th tailgate up there at Penn State against Ohio State, and I had Blair Thomas and Quintus McDonald over, and they helped celebrate my birthday.
Awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome. That's great.
So I'm celebrating my 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. 30th year as a
fan. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You're talking 30th year as a fan?
I won't tell him. You won't tell.
Yeah, there you go.
51.
Awesome. Well, happy
birthday. Yes.
Well, we wish you a happy early birthday, Dan, and safe travel.
Thank you.
Here it is, people. Everybody out there watching. Here's Dan the Fan on his birthday on a weekend, traveling all the way down there for a Hall of Fame induction of Matt Barr and Chuck Fusine and Joe Paterno. I mean, this is Dan the Fan, folks. None like it out there. So, now how you plan on catching some of the game?
I'll find a way.
You have it on radio as you're traveling, right?
Well, either that or on my phone or something. Like, we'll find something.
That's cool. That's great.
We'll find a way.
Well, Dan, as a fan out there, how closely do you follow Penn State and its recruiting?
You know what?
How closely do you follow Penn State with recruiting?
I know some of the guys, like Gino Lewis is back from my hometown and stuff like that, and there's a couple other guys that are from the Mill Hall and Williamsport area, Robbie Golds and stuff like that. But as far as recruiting and everything, I really don't follow it that much.
You kind of wait till they get here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or hoping they get there. You know what I mean?
Right. So you trust the coaches.
There's a guy from Lewisburg. He had a chance to go to Princeton, turned that down, and he was a walk-on up there at Penn State as a linebacker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
An Ivy League school too. That's pretty. It's quite a. Speaks a lot about him. Speaks a lot about Penn State. So, from the fans' perspective, you're trusting the coaches to be out there getting the right type of guys, and so they come here to Penn State, and at that point you pick up, and that's when you kind of start tracking their careers through like you mentioned with this guy. Well, that's great. That's pretty neat.
Exactly. Brandon Smith from Lewisburg.
Awesome. That's really neat. Hey, and I was wondering if you had any thoughts of players in particular you followed through the years after Penn State. Have you had anybody particular you followed?
I just ran into Mike Hall recently at the homecoming. He's kept in touch with me and stuff like that. I see Sam Fakin a bunch of times and stuff like that. Quintus McDonald and you.
All of us guys. Guys from our championship team.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we saw you in the tunnel there the other day, you saw Stefan and of course one of Penn State's greatest kickers from our time, only kicker at Penn State to actually get 2 national championship rings. Massimo Manca and I were walking out. We caught you there that weekend. So you definitely got an autograph. It's worth quite a bit there from a great guy. He's Massimo. I personally appreciate as a friend, and as a young place kicker in high school. I was fortunate enough and blessed to be able to come up here and work out myself, and I got to know Nick Gancitano, work out with him a little bit, and Massimo really kind of took me under my wing while I was still in high school and was coaching me along the way, which led me to come up here as well. So he's been a great friend, and back in the day when I was still in high school, he'd come over to my house. My mom would try to she couldn't do it. My mom always made some pretty decent pasta, but I'm sure it's nothing like his since he came from overseas himself. And
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So my mom tried to make some good pasta for him, and I'm sure it's nothing like his mom's. But he'd always come over and have some dinner with our family. But he's a great guy, and it was great to see him up here for homecoming too. We had a good crowd out for that homecoming here from our team. And next year we have our 30th. So that's going to be amazing how the years go by. It's always great to see everybody.
Like I said, I'm going to be 30 on Saturday.
Oh, there you go. Well, just stand by for next year, Dan, and we'll see if we can hook you up with everybody coming back.
There you go.
Get you into some of our events or something. So we'll see what we can do for you. Hey, Stefan, I was wondering if you had any questions for Dan that you maybe thought of.
No, I guess any direct questions, Dan. I guess when we can start to shift some gears, I guess we can ask it before we shift gears to Maryland. I mean, do you have any favorite all-time players? I know you said you have some people that you still keep in contact with. Do you have any favorite all-time players you just like to see this person or that person play? Or would it be somebody that the general fan wouldn't know about? You sound like somebody that would focus on, like you mentioned, Martel. Do you know anybody else that, or maybe somebody you wouldn't mention that you like to play or don't think they get enough recognition? Or?
Yeah, Jack Ham and Franco Harris. You know, those are guys that I see every. You know, Jack Ham I see every weekend. You know, that home games and stuff. Franco had come over to my friend's tailgate for her husband's birthday party and stuff in Blair Thomas, and there's not one particular person that I've pointed out. It's just like me as a fan. He played for Penn State. That's pretty awesome. And to walk out of that tunnel and on that field, that's got to be a rush.
It is, and you know, I remember last time. And I asked Blair Thomas when I was up in the suites with him. I'm like, what's the difference between this and the NFL? He just said it's the excitement to be on that field in a college setting instead of, you know, like an NFL game. The people get behind you, and that's just like flipping awesome.
So is that how he said it? Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's
okay.
And it's great.
Well, let me switch to another question here, if you don't mind. Now, you know, your enthusiasm is nothing but contagious. And, you know, I actually see what it is when you have people, these kids in college, they just want to play, and the fans, they just want to come to something that's great. And the Penn State fans have just been awesome through all the difficult things that we've been through all the things that happened in the scandal, and all the things that happened when we were on probation and we had all these restrictions. And now that's fun. How is it that you kept yourself motivated as a fan through all those different things? Seeing all the fact you're going to Joe's induction means God bless you. You are right behind him. You're always there for a friend of the program. What was it that kept you a friend of the program and kept you behind Penn State regardless of what happened and people were saying about the program? What kept you going?
I think it's the enthusiasm of you as former players and getting to see you guys either up there and to see all the people that either played on there at one time or still plays there and going to play there. You know, I live in Clarion, Pennsylvania. I work in DuBois, and every Thursday I go up to State College for the coaches show, and then I drive 2 hours back. So that's, you know, but I base that on what game is playing Saturday or, like, you know, things like that. I won't go or whatever like that. But it's just the enthusiasm. I'm with a certain bunch of people that not only do they tailgate good, they have a good time, and the fans are great. And just like I said, it's just the enthusiasm of going up there and seeing everybody. Because there's people that I just met a friend. I was Facebook friends with him for 5 years. Never met the guy. When I walked over to the tailgate, all I hear is this, "Hey, Dad." Oh my God, it was him.
Well, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's an awesome thing, man. And you know,
we only live about 50 miles apart from each other.
Yeah, what a blessing, man. See,
yes.
And that's what I like about. That's the good part about Facebook. The best part about Facebook and other social media for me is getting to know the person outside of just sending messages and doing all these other things. So I definitely applaud you for sticking with the program. And what I was about to say is one of the reasons Skip talked to me about starting the show was when all these different things happened, Skip said, I think we need to talk about it. And of course, we called it Forever Lions then, but now Lions Live, we really need to bring other players and bring the perspective of former players. And the fact that we see you, Penn State past, present, and the future as a fan, it gives me hope, and it just gives me much more satisfaction that I did play here. And I had a person like you that did see me play. Because there's so many people, what I like about you, Dan, is that you are playing, you don't have these unreasonable expectations of people, and you're getting to know Blair and Quintus and all those folks as PF. And that means a lot. And guess what? It also means a lot that you're such a good man that you don't want anything else from them. You just want things to go well, and you want these young men to do well. And that's why I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Those are the questions that I asked, Skip. I mean, did you want to talk about? Well, you know, one thing I wanted to bring up, Skip, that I saw that is a bone of contention and a bit of controversy. I'm not sure where Dan, you are as a fan, or Skip, when you're as a former player, I guess Coach Franklin had a very difficult thing to decide during the game. And I guess if you listen to him, it wasn't that difficult. When Christian Hackenberg got banged up in the game, he appeared to be. A number of people thought, hey, how much longer do you leave this guy in? You're already getting pressure from the D-line. The guy can't move. He's not the most mobile quarterback in the world. Why don't you just put Trace McSorley in and find out what's going on? Or what Coach said is, hey, he said that he's okay. The training people said he's okay. And guess what? Putting McSorley in, nothing against with him, would have been almost like waving the white flag. And they're going to fight to the last play of the game. Well, Dan, how about you first? How do you feel about that? Do you understand why Coach said, hey, Christian, let's suck it up. This is the best opportunity we have? Or was that a bit of a risk in leaving him in?
Yeah, it was. I would have thought he would have brought him out for maybe a couple of plays and let the other guy go in, but I wasn't too sure. But then you get the feeling like this guy's the guy, and if he can't get it done, maybe the other guy can't, or something like that. And I've been reading negative feedback on Facebook and everywhere else about everything what happened, and like I said, I'm not the coach, so I can't say he should have kept them in. But like I said, if he didn't feel that he was the best one to lead them or try to lead them, but then again, you give the other guy a shot too. So it's
right.
Double.
We'll find out at some point, right?
You just watch the Steelers game. Mike Vick got hurt. They put the other guy in, and the guy's the starting quarterback for this weekend.
I think the difference is, well, you do never know. I guess the difficult part is with the Steelers, obviously you had Big Ben, and there was always a drop-off, but you had, two very experienced quarterbacks, people getting reps. I'm just wondering how many significant reps Trace McSorley got, other than the fact that, Dan on our national championship team, there were differences in style between, as you remember, John Schaefer and Matt Kisner. Now, Schaefer was a guy that could think and could win, a big, strong guy, and stick his nose in there. Kisner was more the pretty boy type, but Kiz had a cannon. He really did. And Kiz was a little bit more accurate with his passes, but people felt, and Joe felt, that he managed the game differently, and that's what you had. You had two of the best quarterbacks coming in as freshmen, and you had Schaefer was rated at Moeller, the top quarterback in Ohio, and Kisner, the top quarterback in Pennsylvania. So you had that particular situation, and of course you had a 5-star guy like Hackenberg, who was ready to go, coached by NFL type people. Just was ready, more game ready. But Skip, what do you think? I mean, did you think it was a risk, or do you go ahead and suck it up? And at what point do you not suck it up, Skip? What do you think?
Well, I think you have to look at the team's best interest. You have to look at the individual player's best interest, and that's a tough call. And I'll tell you what, Coach Franklin's been put into a very difficult scenario here at Penn State. He walked into a firestorm. And, no matter what he does, I think he's going to be criticized, and I think he understands.
Sure.
That. So, I trust Coach's judgment. Meeting Coach Franklin, talk to him, and the assistants. He's got a good group of people up here. Again, the most important thing is the athlete's safety and well-being in mind, and they have a great training staff up here at Penn State. So, if they say, hey, there's a difference between playing injured and playing hurt. And, we all know what it is to get banged up and bruised and be sore and, having to go out there sometimes and as people would say, suck it up, and you play that way. It'd be my understanding that that Coach Franklin, I'm sure, used his best judgment based upon all the input from everybody. I think he talked to Hackenberg. I think he talked to the other coaches. I think he talked to the training staff. And, he put that together and he went with his decision. And, I'm going to stand behind him on it. I trust the coach is always going to be doing the best interests of everybody involved in this. So, I can't say one way or the other. I mean, I'm going to just trust Coach Franklin's judgment. I believe in his character. I believe in his person. He's a good guy, and he's going to continue to do what's.
He's a great guy.
He's going to do what's
great.
Right.
He's awesome. He's awesome. I mean, Skip, how many times? I mean, even Joe, as great as Joe was, man, hey, listen, nobody was coming to watch practice.
Oh, yeah.
No one. Yeah. Okay? He is not going to let anyone in there. I mean, listen, there'll be somebody pulling over on the side of the road.
I know what that is.
Yeah, and nobody can see it. He's like, "Get that guy!"
Yeah.
What? How did they show that?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. He was not going to let things happen. But I think, and I do agree with Coach Franklin. He said, look, and I'm just looking at his notes, and I'm sorry if somebody, the guy's been blissfully accurate, that there's a fine line in that. He's like, when you ask your doctors and your trainers, and they say everything's good, and they ask the young man, is he good? Now, like you said, the difference with a young man like Hackenberg, just showed me that he was able to try to suck it up. And that's the stuff that people want to look at, and like you said, about the same notion, you're going to hurt your team. And Coach Franklin says, can we make sure we're in the game, of course. But he said, as a competitor, it's hard to say that he's going to put the backups in at a point in the game and wave the white flag, especially in a national game like that. I guess that would be the thing I think he would depend upon, and that's why Barkley was able to sit those other games, because he felt like he had enough people there. And when you do bring the backup in, you just don't want to bring the backup in a desperate situation. I guess that's why the way you run practice, the way you look at reps, hopefully it'll be a situation where McSorley at least get some more reps in practice should something happen. Because let me tell you something, I don't care what Maryland's record is, Maryland is coming after Hackenberg. They're coming after Hackenberg. They got athletes. And maybe we can keep going with that, Skip. And not only do they have athletes, they have probably the best return game in the country. Where they've been to the end zone, I think, at least 3 times on the return game. So you have some people here. I mean, we have people like Godwin. We have Geno Lewis. I'd like to see us use Geno Lewis a little bit more. I don't quite understand what's going on with that. And maybe this would be a big breakout game for him. And, I'd like to see, us doing a little bit more about getting the wideouts the ball faster. And using also, again, I don't know what happened. I mean, Kyle Carter, and I know Jasicki's a good tight end, but let me tell you something. I have not seen a tight end at Penn State in the history of Penn State in their freshman year ever have a year that Kyle Carter has, and Kyle Carter is not getting significant time on the field. That just does not make any sense. So we're going to stretch the field, but like you said, Dan, we've got to make plays. When you have the ball in your hand and it's anywhere near it, you catch it. Joe would stop practice and literally throw somebody out of practice for not making that difficult catch. You're going to get sandwiched. And I know it's different now. They got these targeting rules and all this other stuff. But you still have to make the catch. It's really, Joe was really big. If you look at the guy, he looked like everything was on intelligence, but still the biggest competitor I have never run into in my life is Joseph Vincent Paterno. I've never met a competitor and been around a competitor like that. So,
hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the guy that got ejected from Ohio State and then took the victory lap, and everybody was cheering, including Urban Myers?
Well,
yeah, this league, man.
I mean, all I can say is that just speaks volumes of their fans and their coach. What else there to say? I mean, what else? There's really nothing else to say. Yeah, your actions speak louder than your words, and on the field and off the field. So I could tell you now here, if somebody did that while we were playing, Joe was not afraid to get him out of here. I mean, he'd be yelling. I mean, that's it. Get him out. So that type of stuff's not tolerated. He was about sportsmanship. He was about doing the right thing, and that I can guarantee you, if somebody tried to do something like that, they'd be kicked off the team. If they tried to do that. If not, Joe would be out there tackling himself. that type of stuff would go on here. He would tackle himself, and if the kid got away with it, I guarantee you wouldn't see him again. You wouldn't see him again on the sidelines. That's just not the way Penn State's ever been, and I hope Penn State never ever deteriorates into anything at all like that. I get a little disappointed sometimes at our fans. I was on the sidelines at homecoming, and and I started hearing profanity, and I started hearing these nasty, mean comments directed at their team. I'm like, you know what? You're not, as a student here, it's coming from the student section. you're not reflecting well upon Penn State when you put those words out of your mouth. You know, Penn State's been, at least back in our day, was a hard school to get into, okay? And you had to have some brains to get here. And we've always been known to be a class act. And it just disappointed me a little bit to hear some of these fans. I understand they get caught up in the game, you're enthusiastic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's there's appropriate things to say and there's inappropriate things to say. And I think this is just generally speaking across the board. I think we've seen a decline in our culture with sports and people not taking a look at the bigger picture, and they get carried away and they say some things that I think are just inappropriate. So I hope Penn State never itself as an institution allows that type of thing to ever take place. And I'm sure the coaching staff here is not going to tolerate any type of disrespectful behavior or applauding a player who was ejected because they violated the rules of the game and could have caused some serious injury to another player. That's not who Penn State is. Maybe that, as I said, it speaks volumes for about who the fans are in Ohio State. It speaks volumes about the coach. And if that's the way people want to play ball, then you know what? We don't really need to play them. I mean, that's not the way. That's not what we're about. Penn State's been a class act. All I can say is their actions speak louder than their words. And there you go.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's where I'm at, you know, Dan. You know, you look at class, and it really doesn't matter what people do to you. That's what we learned from Joe. Just, you know, Joe would say, man, you know, don't screw around. I really don't care what it is they do. And we go run out of the tunnel. I mean, West Virginia was the meanest place where people actually used profanity toward Joe. And of course, the first thing we did was we wanted to go up in the stands and strangle the guy. But, you know, Joe turned to the stands and did the most profound thing. He put his hands up in victory. In other words, it doesn't really matter. That's what I love about him, because you could not rattle him because he always expected to do well. They said, why does he think he went about things the right way? He did the small things. He passed that on. So we did the small things, and you concentrated on the game, and a lot of people were ready to play. I think this is what we're going to get from this Penn State team. I think this is one thing that maybe Coach Franklin may have undersold, not seeing anything missing from his press conference notes. All these people that are playing the freshman backs, and these other linemen that had a chance to play, the fact that he's going deep in this defensive line rotation, I mean, we have not done defensive line rotation like that in years, to be able to see that. And then to have Nassib, man, I mean, we're in 3 categories, man. You know, the third piece, nationally, is saying extending his sack streak to 7 games, you know, and he's a former walk-on, a guy that was 219 pounds, 6'7", now he's 275, 6'7". He gets out there, we can have it. But then you got Austin Johnson as well. Both of them now have been added to the midseason Chuck McMahon list. So we have these folks that are there, but again, this is why I asked you, Dan. We won the national championship not just because of people that you heard of, but about people that you didn't hear of. You know, getting that Maryland game, when we go to the Maryland game, probably beside Pete's play, Maryland does finally score, and guess who makes the play on the 2-point conversion? It jumps totally over the wide receiver. I don't know how he didn't touch him for interference. Duffy Cobbs. No one talks about Duffy Cobbs. Duffy, one of the smartest, most athletic corners I think ever to play for Penn State. Now, he didn't run it for 240. He didn't have to, but everything was in place with that secondary. People trusted each other. Nobody could beat us. And, of course, Ray Ison, you know, the staple of that secondary, 5'8", 188 pounds of just pure newness and pure, you know, he was a very smart player. They weren't getting, you know, the only way you're not going to be tougher than him, you're going to be smarter than him. So these things were passed off. When you have an NFL head coach, and to me, Skip, this is why I don't think Ohio State may or may not win. I don't think Ohio State has the team they had last year, and that mess that Dan just talked about, to me, that takes a notch off of their belt about what it is they have to do when they get to the playoffs and how it is they're going to get through this Big Ten season. Let me tell you something. Even with JT Barrett, the quarterback, it's not going to be as easy. So what do you do, and what do you judge Ohio State on? You know, how they get better. And their offensive line, as we saw, they're okay. But what we got to look at Maryland, I mean, listen, we should beat Maryland. Maryland is 2-4. They did beat USF 35-17, and they blew out Richmond. But then they get crushed by West Virginia, Bowling Green, and Ohio State, and Michigan. Michigan shut out by Michigan. Boy. Wow. So we're going into a stadium, that is a stadium for the Ravens, and it's a very good venue. We should be excited about going into this game. We should be excited about it. Again, if you go back, Dan, can you remember, and I want to say this, I know we got to get the scores probably in about 5 minutes or so, but Dan, there was a game in 1987. You follow us back to then? And we played in Baltimore Memorial Stadium. Do you remember how we won that Maryland game? Who was the DB that got it? They had still one of the best interception returns I've ever seen. Do you remember who it was? We beat them 21-16. Can you remember who the DB was?
I don't offhand.
Okay. Well, again, Dwayne Downey.
T. Yeah.
Dwayne was one of those guys, man. Again, Dwayne jogged the football. I mean, he was just tremendous, and I think all of us, and we had so much talent that Dwayne was faster than most people, and what kept him behind other folks is he was playing well, but there was just so much that was talent that people were so smart. People like Dwayne, people like Marcus Henderson, that we didn't have a lot going on offensively but a few plays, and Dwayne picks off the ball at the 39-yard line. It starts on our sideline. Now, usually when you get an interception on your sideline, you just stay. And Dwayne was good. Dwayne made a broken field run from the 39-yard line, and then went on to score. I think he juked about 6 or 7 people all the way to the end zone. So it's those guys again, and this is why Penn State is going to get better. I just want to say that. It's not about, I'm sitting up here and we're talking about the same people. We're talking about Nassib, we're talking about this, but no one's going to talk about Wendy Lawn and and all the other folks that are coming out of it. And then the fact that Paris Palmer, who's a 6'8" tackle, now has struggled since the Temple game, and he actually still struggles with his technique. Having that left tackle be able to make the touchdown block that he made for Barkley and pancake his guy, it's going to take us to the next level. That person you didn't know about. The Keith Karpinski's of the world. Now, you might remember we beat Notre Dame, I think it was 21-20. It was minus 4 degrees. I don't know if you remember that game, Dan. It was so cold. All of us were near the heater. I think it was so cold. We had gloves on. We put our gloves up to the head heater, and our gloves melted together. That's just how weird it was, man. Everything was going wrong, but people don't understand. Kirkendall, my buddy, my roommate, one of my best friends in the whole world, he made the play. Yeah, but guess who really made that play, though? The person who really made the play is Keith Karpinski, number 84. Why did Keith make that play? Because we knew Tony Rice was going to run an option. Everybody did their job. The most critical part on that play was Keith forces the quarterback to turn inside because he does his job. So Pete can make the play. So when we're working and we're in synergy like that on defense or team, that's what's going to make an outstanding team here at Penn State. I think that's what we have to have coming into this game to make sure, number one, Hackenberg is okay. Is anybody heard anything about Hackenberg? Dan, you got anything on him?
I haven't heard anything. I just heard bits and pieces.
Well, Coach Franklin was pretty tight-lipped about those injuries, and I don't blame him. And I think Joe was the same way. But boy, I think Franklin, he's more tight-lipped than Joe is with the injuries. And you don't want people to know. And we did get back as well Keelan Lynch some for the last game. So I think we're going to get more full strength. I think we're going to be able to run definitely the football better this game.
Well, I'd like to see more defensive plays being made, like a kickoff and run for a 80-yard touchdown or something like that.
Yeah.
I think once you get that going, like that run back that Austin Johnson had a couple of weeks ago, that was amazing.
Well, I mean,
it's like a flipping train, and I'm. I love the offense is great, but I love a good defense, and that's where the plays are made first before the offense can come out and do stuff.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, in the last 5 minutes here, let's do some picks here. Dan, we're going to get your picks here for the Big Ten this week as well here. We'll run through our picks here as we wind out the fastest hour in college football, folks, here only at Lions Live on the Forever Lions Network. Thanks for joining us out there online. Again, lionslive.com. So picking our picks here this week, 12 o'clock kickoff here on ESPN2. We got Northwestern at Nebraska. That's actually going to be an early kick. Yeah, Northwestern at Nebraska. So that'll be an early game for those guys out there.
Wow. Are you asking me first or asking Dan?
Dan, let's get you first. Lead us off.
Northwestern.
Really? Okay. I tell you what, Skip, I'm going to disagree. Nebraska has had a difficult season. They're not the same team. I normally would pick Northwestern, but you know what? Nebraska has got to win this football game. And I think they're desperate enough that they might just be able to do it. I'm going to take Nebraska.
Okay, and I'm actually with you on that one, Stefan, as well. I agree with you. And it's at Nebraska. So 12 o'clock kickoff. That's an early wake for everybody out there. Then
what I mean is Nebraska is not doing well. You get the 12 o'clock game, you're not balling like that.
That's right. That's right. Mid-afternoon night games is where the prime time. Then moving in towards the prime of the day, here we got Wisconsin at Illinois.
Ooh. I think I want to stick with the Badgers. The Badgers have been finding ways to win. They've had some tough losses. I'm going with the Badgers.
All right, Dan, what do you think?
Wisconsin.
Yep, I think we got a consensus there. I'm with you on that one. And then another 3:30 kickoff. Here we got Indiana at Michigan State.
Well, what they did to Michigan last week, I'm taking Michigan State.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a great game.
That was a good game.
Yeah, it was. And hopefully we'll have time to talk about it another time. It was Michigan just, you know what, you learn not to celebrate early. That's the one thing they learned also. They did all that smiling and Desmond Howard and all that. That's cheesing. And they lost, bums. So anyway, a bum is like a bum.
Yeah,
but no, man, Michigan State, Indiana's going down well. Two hurt, two messed up. That loss to Rutgers, a heartbreaking 55-52 loss. Heartbreaking.
You're right. Yeah, that's I think you're right on that one. I think we all agree Michigan State's on a roll here. Ranked number 7. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of how much at that point. And then the primetime game here now, interesting matchup here, as we all know, are the teams we lost to here, Ohio State at Rutgers. So Ohio State at Rutgers on the road.
That's a wrap. Ohio State continues. Rutgers gets better. Rutgers plays a good first quarter. And then Rutgers gets put in the pig pen.
There you go.
For the slaughter.
Yep.
For the slaughter.
Yep. You agree, Dan?
I'm still waiting for an upset. I'm going to take Rutgers.
Oh.
Oh!
Hey.
You're in the field.
Wow.
Wait. You remember when they lose this weekend, you can call me.
Hey, we'll have you back next week. That'll be the pick of the week.
Hey, we can wager on that. Hey, Skip, they don't have, or Dan, you can tell me, they don't have bubbles up there. I was going to say, I want to go to those old school bubble cells, man. Maybe that's what we'll put. But they don't have bubbles up there anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
Oh, well. Well, and no more Penn State sub shop. I mean, let's put a sub on that. I'll make them up for the Michigan game, Dan. You owe me a sub.
We're gonna be at the Michigan game, buddy.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Well, I'm looking forward to eating that 12-8 sub.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're down to our last couple of minutes here. Of course, we got Penn State, Maryland, and is anybody? Well, it's going to be an interesting game. Dan, we'll let you go first here.
I'm looking for Penn State to come bounce back from their loss. I think they're going to be good to go.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with Dan. I think we have a natural rivalry here. And again, Dan mentioned some things about behavior and respect. And Maryland came in last year and they didn't show us any respect last year. And I don't think Coach Franklin forgot about that. And, you know, one of the things he said in the press conference is real quick is if you play a pickup game with him, he'll be coming at you the whole way. Let me tell you something. They made that man mad, and I think they got to axe the grind. And let me tell you something. Penn State wins, and I think we win by 2 touchdowns.
I hope that's true, but I'm actually going to pick Maryland maybe by 3. Listen, Maryland's in a position. Yeah, I'm telling you.
You're going to be owing them a sub.
Bombs this year, Skip. Are you serious, man? No.
Listen, I just think I hope Penn State wins, but I just think that could be one of those games, and I hope it's not. I'll buy you both subs, but it's not even that. It's just
that's all right, Skip. You know what? Keep it real. That's what we do.
I have, and I want Penn State to win. I hope Penn State blows them out by 30. I just have this sneaky suspicion with Maryland's schedule and what's happened to them. I think they're going to be up for this game. I hope it's not what I think is going to happen. Let's hope not.
Well, they did have a week off, Skip.
Yes.
The thing with a week off is the question is, did you get healthy? Or did you get anything done, or did you rest?
Well, that's just it.
And I guess that's the question.
That's just it. So a little controversy here at the end, folks. Here we're down to our last 30 seconds. I want to thank Dan, the fan, for joining us with us here, and big dude Stephen Davis. A quick 10-second parting comments, guys. Dan?
Hey, I'll be in Valley Forge for my birthday.
There you go. Stephen?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, go Coach State. I think we're going to do better. I hope Hackenberg is okay. But, Coach, if you got to use Trace McSorley, use them.
There you go.
It makes a much longer season. That's what I said.
Hey, well, on behalf of Dan the fan, big dude Stephen Davis, my name's Skip Dreibelbis. Thank you for joining us on Lions Live on the only network but by the players to the fans. We are Lions Live, one team past, present, future. Have a great night. Lord bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
6 to 9 a.m. with me, Jerry Fisher. This is 970 a.m. WBLF, Bellefonte State College, the voice of Center County.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. Vice President Joe Biden deciding not to make a run for the White House. He says grieving for his son Beau took a lot out of him, and there's just not enough time to launch a campaign. But Biden with advice for the Democrats who are running.
I don't believe, like some do, that it's naive to talk to Republicans. I don't think we should look at Republicans as our enemies. They are our opposition. They're not our enemies. And for the sake of the country, we have to work together.
Candidate Bernie Sanders.
I want to thank Joe Biden and President Obama for the work that they have done over the last 7 years in making very significant improvements to our economy. Obviously, we have a long way to go.
Hillary Clinton saying history isn't done with Joe Biden. He's still undecided about running for speaker, and some Republicans are not sure he's the best candidate.
The former Republican VP nominee has critics among the Conservative Freedom Caucus, an influential group that met with Paul Ryan this afternoon.
I don't think the speakership is a 9-to-5 job. I've got family. That's why I'm not running for speaker or any other position like that.
Tim Hillscamp reacting to Ryan's request to not give up family time, a condition that would lead to far fewer fundraising trips. That's not a problem for Florida Republican Jeff Miller.
Paul Ryan's got his priorities, and that's the type of person that we need leading our conference.
House Republicans are expected to vote for a nominee in 1 week.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. This just in, the House Freedom Caucus now says it will support Paul Ryan for Speaker. The Toronto Blue Jays stay alive in the ALCS. They beat the Kansas City Royals 7-1, and the Royals now have a 3-2 lead. In the NLCS, the New York Mets and Chicago Cubs game starting in minutes. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced. I'm Kathleen Maloney.
As a business owner, I can tell you that your company is only as good as the people you hire. BullRecruiter.com. I can post to 100+ job sites with one single click and have the highest chance of finding that perfect candidate. Plus, you can instantly be matched to candidates from over 4 million resumes. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
You're a small to mid-sized business with 300 to 3,000 employees. You face the same network security challenges as big businesses do, but can't support a big IT investment, leaving your doors open to advanced cyber threats. Barracuda next-generation firewalls provide all the core features of enterprise firewalls and UTMs, but without hidden costs and deployment hurdles, making owning a big business firewall no big deal for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda next-gen firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
tough task for Secretary of State John Kerry. He meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Berlin tomorrow to try to find a way to stop the violence in the Mideast. WikiLeaks posting material from what appears to be the CIA director's personal email.
The WikiLeaks dump of what they claim are CIA Director John Brennan's email documents don't have shocking information in them. A background check form, CIA communication with an intelligence company he ran, and a document about Iran saying the person who becomes president in 2009 needs to tone down the rhetoric. What may be shocking is that a hacker says he got into Brennan's AOL account in the first place.
What this indicates is it's quite dangerous for any individual to keep sensitive records in their personal email account.
Katie Masuris with HackerOne says she thinks as younger, more cyber-savvy people move into government posts, information will be better protected. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News Radio.
President Obama plans to pitch Democratic lawmakers to support a trade deal with Pacific Rim countries during a White House meeting tonight. Obama seeking Democratic support for a deal that would reduce or eliminate thousands of tariffs on U.S. goods shipped to the participating nations. And they include Australia, Japan, and Vietnam. But it's not going to be an easy sell with many congressional Democrats. A key base of support, labor unions worrying that the deal would put downward pressure on wages. The lineup is set for next week's GOP debate on CNBC. 10 candidates will share the stage with Donald Trump front and center alongside Ben Carson. Those who did not make the top 10 in the debate will be speaking before the main event. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's the forecast from your weather authority for WBLF. Tonight, patchy clouds with an overnight low of 48. Tomorrow, sun and passing clouds. There could be a shower or two, a high temperature of 70. And then for Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high temperature of 60 degrees. From your weather authority, I'm Regina Miller for News Talk 970 WBLF.
Does your factory, industrial, or manufacturing business need more space? Does your organization, committee, or council need space to meet and hold events on a committed basis? How does 55,000 square feet sound? A great opportunity for your business to expand its output and flexibility is available in Wollaston Township. The former Wollaston Elementary School is now owned by Magnum Broadcasting, and we're looking for businesses to share the space. One business can occupy the entire 55,000 square feet, or a few smaller businesses can get together and occupy. It's just a short drive from Interstate 80, making distribution ideal. The spaces are individually heat zoned and there's plenty of parking. For more information, call 814-272-1320. That's 814-272-1320. Let's talk about how your business can take advantage of this expansion opportunity. This building is for rent by owner, Magnum Broadcasting Incorporated, which adheres to all guidelines and ordinances established by the Fair Housing Act.
And now, this radio station gets turned into your total information source with the Mike Gallagher Show. The news is happening now, and we keep you connected to the headlines like no one else. Here is the happy conservative warrior, Mike Gallagher.
This is going to come as a shock to you, but Ahmed Mohammed, the 14-year-old clockmaker from Irving, Texas, is moving to the Middle East. Now, I know you're shocked. Listen, I don't like to jolt you with news that could give you a heart attack or anything, but yes, Ahmed's family has announced they're moving to Qatar in the Middle East. They'll feel, more comfortable in the Middle East than in Irving, Texas. I'll give you an update on Ahmed, the clockmaker, in just a few moments. Also, there's, of course, a big debate on Capitol Hill over who will be the next Speaker of the House. Paul Ryan, the Wisconsin congressman, told his colleagues last night that he will be their speaker, but he has some expectations of his own. He has some terms. And he wants his terms addressed by Friday. Here's sort of the list of expectations. You can call them demands, whatever you want. From the once reluctant Paul Ryan, who you'll recall ran as vice president in the past. He's very popular. There's a great deal of debate over his conservative bona fides, and we'll have that conversation in just a minute. But let's listen to cuts 1 and 2. Paul Ryan explaining what he expects before he announces whether he'll throw his hat in the ring for Speaker of the House or not.
First, we need to move from an opposition party to being a proposition party. Second, we need to update our House rules, and it needs to include fixes that ensure that we do not experience constant leadership challenges and crises. Third, we as a conference should unify now and not after a divisive speaker election. The last point is personal. I cannot and I will not give up my family time, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message. What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve. Nothing is ever solved by blaming people. We can blame the president. We can blame the media. And that's kind of fun sometimes. We can point fingers across the aisle. We can blame each other. We can dismiss our critics and criticism as unfair. People don't care about blame. People don't care about effort. People care about results.
Now, here's what Jenny Beth Martin from the Tea Party, she's the president and co-founder of Tea Party Patriots, writes at Politico about Paul Ryan. Says he's a nice guy. He's a nice man. But he does not reflect the conservative base of the modern GOP. Long before there was a Tea Party movement, Ryan opposed a balanced budget amendment, which would have forced Congress to keep its spending in check. He voted for No Child Left Behind, the disastrous takeover of America's education policy by D.C. bureaucrats. He voted to create the prescription drug coverage known as Medicare Part D. She says, as for the specific legislative fights that led to the birth of the Tea Party movement, he was on the wrong side right from the start. He voted for TARP, the AIG bailout, the GM bailout. More recently, he was John Boehner's hand-picked salesman for comprehensive immigration reform. What's at least as offensive as his voting record, writes Jenny Beth Martin, is his reported attitude toward the job. Media accounts indicate he'll only consider taking it if he has to make no promises to any of his colleagues about how he would run the House and can be elected by acclamation. She says no promises equals no change. Without change, we're just pouring old wine into a new bottle. Election by acclamation speaks of the arrogance of the Republican establishment that led to the current turmoil, but that's no surprise. Ryan is as much a part of the House GOP leadership as you can get without actually having been selected for an elected leadership position. So, Jenny Beth Martin from Tea Party Patriots maintains Paul Ryan is not the right man to assume the House speakership, and anyone who believes he is just doesn't get it. I think she's right. I think she's absolutely correct. If this is all about change in Washington, if this process, which has shown people like Donald Trump and Ben Carson exploding onto the national scene, is about shaking up the Republican establishment, I'm not real certain that a Paul Ryan speakership does that. Now, you could go through Paul Ryan's record and argue about his conservatism or his lack of conservatism. Craig Gilbert wrote online, Paul Ryan would be the most conservative House Speaker in generations, at least as measured by a congressional rating system widely used by political scientists. But he's not conservative enough for some activists on the right who are voicing qualms about a Ryan speakership. You know, I don't know that it's about how conservative he is. I think this has everything to do with whether or not he's a change from the status quo. I don't know that the Republican Party is in chaos. The Republican Party is in rebellion. There is a rebellion going on. This is like the 60s with Barry Goldwater and when his believers rejected Eisenhower republicanism. And when this reminds veteran political watchers of that time in our nation's history. The House Speaker position has to reflect a significant change from the John Boehner status quo. I hope Paul Ryan declines the opportunity. And on a personal note, and I say this with a great deal of regret, but I'm really disappointed in a guy who is being courted for a position that needs solid, dedicated leadership. And he wants to make sure he has his family time. That is a non sequitur if I've ever heard one. I appreciate that he's got his priorities in line, as all of us should. And I respect somebody who can say, I'm going to make time for my family. I don't know that you have to say it at a press conference as a list, as part of a list of demands of what he will or won't do if he gets the privilege of leading the House of Representatives. You want to take family time and make sure you have enough vacation? You want to leave early in the middle of a vote? What does that mean? You're going to make sure you have your family time. Again, I'm not an anti-family person, obviously. My wife and I raised 4 boys, and there were plenty of times when there was a conflict in our household because my wife wanted me to come home and I had to work a long day at the office, and she didn't always understand that. That's life. That's life. When you're the breadwinner and you're the one bringing home the bacon, when you're making you got the paycheck, that doesn't diminish the role of the wife who stays at home with the kids. There are different roles and there are different responsibilities, but the arrogance of saying in a press conference yesterday, well, I'm going to make, and you don't interrupt my family time before you're even a candidate for the job. Think of it as a job interview. If you called somebody in to interview somebody for a position and you wanted that person for a coveted job, well-paid job, lots of competition for it, it's high profile, very important position, and the man or woman sat there and said, but understand something, as you're asking me for this job or offering me this job, I need my family time. I will tell you quite bluntly, as an employer or a potential employer, I'd say, next, please, because I want somebody who will live and breathe and fight for the company or the entity and not already be carving out 2 weeks vacation to go see the Grand Canyon. He's not excited about this position, and I don't think we need anybody who is unenthusiastic about the position. He doesn't want it. Paul Ryan doesn't want it, and he shouldn't be dragged kicking and screaming into this process when he clearly doesn't want to be there. Let's find somebody who does. Let's find a firecracker. Let's find somebody who's vibrant and enthusiastic and aggressive and ready to take on the failed liberal agenda. It's not Paul Ryan. It's not Paul Ryan. 1-800-655-MIKE. Let's see if you agree or not. We'll find out with your reaction coming up. Also, give you the update on Ahmed, the clock boy. Again, true story. They're moving to the Middle East. Wow. What a stunner, huh? 800-655-6453. If you can't get through on our talk lines, you can always text me your comments. Send a text. And don't forget to please follow me on Twitter, because I'm in a pathetic, pitiful, miserable, self-loathing effort to try to get verified by Twitter. So the more activity I get and the more followers I have, maybe it'll happen and I can stop whining about it. And I know you'll give anything to get me to stop whining, right? So follow me on Twitter. I'm at Radio Talker Mike on Twitter. Your voice, your call, your tweet, your text, your smoke signal coming up here on the Mike Gallagher Show.
This time of year, it seems everyone's looking for a better, more affordable healthcare solution. But with costs rising and options limited, where do you turn? If you're a Christian, you turn to Medishare. It's not insurance. It's over 154,000 believers who share each other's medical bills. It's about half the cost of healthcare insurance programs. And it's fully acceptable under the law. Best of all, Medishare is based on the timeless principles found in God's Word. You never pay for things that go against your beliefs. Medishare is healthcare that fits your family and your faith.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your healthcare. For your free information guide, call 855-BIBLE-11. Not available in Montana. Medishare, affordable biblical healthcare. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11.
When we ran out, we stopped using it. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished? We thought everything was fine, and that was not a good thing. No. He started stinking. It was awful.
Shedding comes back, loss of hair, lots of dandruff. Scratching will return. The shedding will increase.
If I ever took Roy off of Dinovite, he would go back to his hair loss.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dinovite.
When I get to about 3/4.
Oh no, I've got a couple more scoops.
It's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Each and every day she is getting that Dinovite.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. If it's working, don't quit.
Don't do what I did and run out.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
You hear that, kid? That's the hum of a well-run facility. You know what I hate hearing? Silence. Silence on a production line means downtime. Downtime means wasted time. Wasted time means wasted money. Silence isn't golden, kid. It's deadly. That's why I love Grainger. With a wide variety of the latest products, Grainger gets us what we need when we need it to help keep this place up and running and humming away. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Grainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you cough all day, you forget what a miracle coughing is. Your cough soars out of your mouth at 50 miles an hour. Your cough is faster than a greyhound and nearly twice as fast as the fastest man on earth. So when your husband spends all night coughing, remember what an amazing world you live in.
Or else, try Robitussin 12 Hour. It soothes and delivers fast, powerful cough relief for up to 12 hours. New Robitussin 12 Hour, because it's never just a cough. Use as directed.
Mike Gallagher.
Governor Jesse Ventura, you've not seen the movie American Sniper.
No, I have not.
And you read the book?
No, I only read my chapter. And when I read the chapter about me and Salt was completely fabricated, I went in court and proved it in front of a jury and a federal judge. And so all I can do, like I said about the movie, I said it's a propaganda film that's as authentic as Dirty Harry.
Alan Combs, weeknights at midnight on WBLF.
Dixon Com Technology Services, 220 North Front Street in downtown Phillipsburg. Across the street from Brothers Pizza, serves Phillipsburg, State College, Clearfield, and the surrounding areas for all your computer needs. No matter how complicated the technology problem, Dixon Com Technology Services has the nerd knowledge to fix it. From computer repair for PC and Mac, to virus removal and PC tune-ups, new and refurbished computer sales, to help with networking and cloud backup, Chief Nerd Herder Annette Bickle and her team of nerds have the know-how to serve you. They treat your computer like it was their own and can make your computer fast, secure, and reliable. Dixon Com Technology Services will fix your computer problem right the first time, and they'll do it quickly. Get computer help from nerds with personality that will explain problems in simple, understandable terms. Call now for a free remote evaluation on your PC by one of their nerds. 814-343-7320. That's 814-343-7320. Dixon Com Technology Services, 220 North Front Street in Phillipsburg. Online at dixoncom.com.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys.
This is it, the one you've waited for from Kubota and Dotter Equipment in Mill Hall, the brand new B2301 with a powerful 23 horsepower Kubota diesel engine and 3-range HST transmission. This Kubota tractor is stocked full of new features like the drive-over mid-mount mower, operator platform with convenient 12-volt socket, and much more. Tackling multiple jobs, what the Kubota B2301 does best, with the Category 1 3-point hitch, hydraulic independent PTO, and telescoping stabilizers for efficient implement attachment. See it now. The Kubota B2301 tractor from the hometown guys, Dotter Equipment, Route 64 in Mill Hall, just a mile from Interstate 80. Kubota, for Earth, for life.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys. You gotta love the hometown guys.
Baby, when I think about you, think about love.
Mike Gallagher.
25 past the hour. Portions of our show brought to you by Project Hope. Make an online donation. Go to mikeonline.com and let's support the thousands and thousands of children who are dying and facing malnutrition and disease that are preventable. You can make a difference in their lives. You can save their life. Go to mikeonline.com. Click on the Project Hope banner today. Let's get your take on the Paul Ryan conversation we're having in America right now over the Speaker of the House. We'll start with Rick. Hey, Rick, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, sir? Hey, the reason why Mary Beth came out saying that is because
Jenny Beth.
Sorry, Martin. We're sick and tired of hearing people like Boehner promise us the world and do nothing about it.
Right.
You know, we want someone like Trey Gowdy who's actually going to stand up, you know,
and fight.
And you're correct. Stand up and fight and do what we ask him to do.
That's exactly right. I mean, stop making promises that you can't keep. Stop talking about defunding Obamacare if you're not going to. Stop talking about defunding Planned Parenthood if you're not going to. Americans are fed up with broken promises. And I'm sorry, Paul Ryan is not an example of changing course. Trish, you're next. Hey, Trish, welcome aboard.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Trish. Good. How you doing?
I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we'll try to get a better line for you and get you reconnected. Barry, you're next. How's it going, Barry?
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Are
Good,
you
Barry.
still trying to get your Twitter thing going, are you?
Every day is please, have you followed me yet?
No, because I am not in that kind of position to do that. And I would never, ever make a tweet because I notice everybody who does it is kind of sorry that they did it.
Yeah, there are times when you tweet the wrong thing out. That's for sure. Well, who knows? Maybe Twitter will take kindly and have a heart and give me a verification.
Well, I hope it does. Days. I mean, you deserve to be confirmed at least, or whatever the term is.
Thank you. What's your reaction to Paul Ryan's
one of the things is the way I understand it. This